You're listening to the Blacktop Banter podcast, the premier podcast in the asphalt industry, made for contractors with contractors.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Blacktop Banter. And as much as I would love to put my phone down as of late, I still can't do it, guys. So to your benefit, I get connected, I see a lot of posts, and the algorithms are doing a fantastic job of keeping anything blacktop in front of my face and relevant for me to utilize for you all here at Blacktop Banter. And that happened recently. I was on TikTok scrolling around, and I seen a post about an asphalt driveway, and the installer, the contractor overall, had an issue that I think is common somewhat if you're in the asphalt industry and you own a business. I'm sure you've ran into it. But I thought, what a great way to talk about this thing, but also learn a lot about the person who made the post because they are crushing on social media. So Eric Martin is an entrepreneur. His TikTok bio says, I subcontract a lot, which was my favorite part when I opened up his bio. He owns a concrete company, a radiology company, a rental company, Airbnbs, and does a lot more. He is crushing on social media, in my opinion, and like I said, his recent TikTok post about an asphalt driveway install he did grabbed my attention. I'm excited to pick his brain a little bit for us all today. Eric, thanks for joining us, man.
What's up, Marvin? How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good, man. Cold. It's minus 22 with the wind chill and 2 feet of snow here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's been terrible the last couple days. Very cold. Very cold.
Brutal. Where are you located at?
I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah.
So it's not too far from you, but still cold here.
Still cold. Yeah, I was talking to somebody in Indiana the other day, and they're like, "Yeah, it's cold here." And I kind of, that's a one thing about Wisconsin. Like, if nothing else, it gives all my friends perspective because they're like, "Yeah, it's cold here," and I'm like, "Well, we have it worse." Like, literally, when they say the frozen tundra, it literally is the frozen tundra. Like, I'm pretty sure when you drive in from Illinois, there's like, it looks like a giant igloo, and you're like driving into the hole to the inside, right? And you're like, "Oh, this is what we do." So, yeah, it's cold here, man. I'm not gonna lie, but it's cold Indy, it's cold Pennsylvania. We're in a tight one here this week.
Yeah, I've been staying indoors. That's what I've been doing. Staying indoors, warming the truck up before I get in it. That's the plan.
It's terrible. You see everybody moving like from their house to their vehicle, and then from their vehicle to the office, and then or to the gym. Like, there's no lingering going on outside. I can tell you that much. So yeah. I would really love to jump into it, man. And I love your content. I'm not going to lie, not just the asphalt stuff. I enjoyed the concrete one where the guy told you he was a doctor, and you went into, why would this guy say he's a doctor? Because to me, that actually is psychology of sales, right? We have all these aspects, and as an entrepreneur, you wear all the hats at some point, whether you like it or not, right? But for me, wisdom is granted when you are able to recognize patterns. And after doing so many sales, you recognize the pattern, right? This guy said, I'm a doctor. Well, why would it matter to us what you do for a profession? Unless he was trying to portray something, right, to us as a contractor. So I really enjoy all your posts, and that's just a taste of what it is. But give us a little bit of your background, man, how you got from Eric, the small suspenders-wearing kid that ate ice cream and dropped it on the ground, to the guy that's on TikTok just throwing advice and information to us.
Yeah, well, let's just, I guess, start in the beginning. I went to school for radiology. So okay. I got my radiology degree. I spent about 10 years at the hospital, working every single day. Okay. 1 year, the entire year. The next year, off Thanksgiving and Christmas. I mean, I'm working every single day, 2 full-time jobs, full-time nights here, full-time days here, grinding. I was doing what I thought you had to do to make it. Get a college degree and work your ass off. And after doing that, after that second year of working nearly every day, I realized it's not really possible to make it that way. Yeah. It's not, you can't make enough money to live the life I wanted to live, let alone invest into businesses and stocks and properties. Even though I wasn't spending any money, I was just working my ass off, and it wasn't happening. So I when I was in radiology school, my neighbor did concrete work. He worked at a bigger
Okay.
place. He was kind of in charge there. So he kind of helped me get started in the concrete trade a little bit.
How?
And I worked maybe a little bit for him on and off while I was in school versus after radiology and everything. And I told him, and I said, hey, let's start our own concrete business. I can do the sales and marketing side. I was an entrepreneur. I had several other businesses. I sold mattresses. I sold everything you could possibly sell. Etsy shops, eBay shops. I sold Uber and Lyft signs to drivers. I still get an Uber and Lyft signs for signs that I made, which is kind of cool. But I did anything that could make money. But what I realized was I didn't want to do mass volume with fractions, making $1 and selling 1,000 of them. It's so much easier, the contractor side, where you can sell one job and make multiple thousand versus sell 10,000 t-shirts or the difference. So I realized that maybe in my late 20s. I'm 33 now. So this is my 5th year of kind of in the contractor business. Okay. And Mike, who was my partner, who kind of got me started in the concrete business, I did all the work. I did all the marketing. I did all the sales. He was just in charge of getting the stuff done. Yeah. And then we kept doing more and more concrete. We kept growing and growing. And what hurt me was when someone said, hey, do you know anyone that does fences? And I'm like, no. I mean, yes, I do. But I mean, I wanted to say, yes, I do it. Like I couldn't say, yeah, I'm a concrete company and I do fences too, So I couldn't say that. And that just happened more and more the more leads I did. And I just wanted to say yes to everything everybody wanted. And that's what started me to open my own business that was just general contracting. Everything under the sun. Anything that anybody wanted, yes, we can do it. And then from that business, I was getting asphalt, roofing, masonry, fences, decks, anything anybody wanted. You can make money on asphalt, you can make money on concrete, but you can make money on fences and decks and everything else as well. So I didn't want to leave any money on the table. And then I continued to grow in that side of the business, more subcontracting. And I realized what works in the concrete business, marketing, works in really any business. The marketing works the same whatever business you're in. So I'm in concrete and, mostly, but I could do the same thing in anything else. So once I started making some money in the concrete business, a doctor approached me asking me if I wanted to buy a CT and MRI machine. He said, me and 4 other doctors are going to go in on it. Do you want to go in on it with me? And I'm an x-ray tech, okay? No x-ray techs own a CT and MRI machine. It doesn't happen. The people that own CT and MRI machines are hospitals, doctors. Very few people own one. Very few people. But when he asked me, I said, who are the other 4 doctors? And he told me who they were, and I was like, no. I said, ask me in a year, and just me and you do it. Because those 4 doctors, they're not going to bring us any volume, and I'm going to have to do all the work marketing anyway. So it was just going to take away money from me, and I'm still going to have to do all the work. So then he called me the next day and said, you're right, Eric. Let's just me and you do it. And, when you got a doctor on the loan to get the CT and MRI, the bank will pretty much give you anything you want. So we got loaned the money to get the CT and MRI. He had a facility that I worked at. I actually ran the facility back in the day. I was the executive director there for CT, ultrasound, and mammograms, and they didn't do CT and MRI. So I got to jump in on the CT and MRI side. So that was a big investment, but it was cool to get back into the radiology side because I've been so much in the concrete side. And it's a similar thing. What you do to market for the concrete business works for
I was going to say, it's not a similar thing. I was going to say, it's not a similar thing. You're like, yeah, I do concrete and radiology. People are going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Like those are the 2 avenues we're taking. But what you're talking about is the marketing side, the business side. Like we can function it and connect it that way where they're similar, right?
Yeah.
Services. They're both services.
Yes, exactly. The way people find you to get a concrete driveway done are the exact same ways they find you if they want a CT or MRI. They're going to Google. They're looking you up. Are you findable? Can people find you there? If they can't find you, they ain't going to call you. They ain't going to fill
Yeah.
out the lead form on your website. So that was really how I got more into that business. But then I continued just wanting to grow, and I wanted to appear better. So if I got a lead for roofing or masonry or whatever, I printed out flyers that makes me look like a rock star on roofing. And
Yep.
I'm not coming to your house with a flyer saying I do everything under the sun. If you called for roofing, I'm coming to your house with this roofing flyer. If you called
Okay.
for asphalt, I'm coming to your house with this asphalt flyer. So
Okay.
I look like a rock star. I'm not coming to your house with a business card, and I've actually even progressed my concrete business. We're now coming with this 20-page booklet of all the work we've done. So I looked at ways to, how I can make more money per job, and some ways stuck out to me, like adding borders to your concrete. You can charge $1,500, $2,000, and I wanted to emphasize that in the booklet to get even more money. So didn't want to leave any money left on the table. And sometimes in the concrete business, if they don't know you can do it, they're not going to ask you for it. So you kind of got to show them that you can do it, and they're not going to ask because they don't know to ask. So does that kind of emphasize my background?
Yeah, man. And you gave us a couple tidbits in there, right? Like there's guys like you got to let them know what you do before they can ask what you can do. That's kind of like you don't know what you don't know,
Correct.
I mean, you got to get them to know it. So let's transition a little bit over to the post that garnered my attention and put you on the radar. I loved this post because I believe I seen the first half in my brain. If I think about it, I was like, oh yeah, there's a reason why the algorithm sent me this one of Eric's, because I'm pretty sure I watched the first one. My favorite part was when you were like, correct me if I'm wrong, be like, my lawyer said I ain't supposed to talk about it, but here I am, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to go into it, right? And what the heck the deal was. So break it down. What happened? You get a lead for this asphalt job, and it gets installed.
Yeah. So this is early on in the asphalt side of things. So I've learned a lot from this particular job. But
You're welcome. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you learn as you go, but this is just how it happens. So I'm going to call this customer Karen. She needed a driveway done, okay? I go out there, I measure everything up, I get the square footage, I take a bunch of pictures, I take some videos. That's what I do. I send it to my subcontractor. I said, hey, what can you do it for? And John says, I can do it for $5,000.
Yep.
And I said, okay. I sent her the price for 85. She says, no, that's too much. Blah, blah, blah. We negotiate. We agree on $8,000. And the job comes to the start date. Start date comes. John shows up there. He's working on the job. She calls me and's like, hey, he's not ripping out the whole driveway. And I'm like, look, we're going to rip out all the high spots. We're going to rip out all the low spots. But some spots that are fine, we'll just have to fill those in with more material if we rip those off. And she was, going crazy. And I give her a discount on the phone, really because I just want to make something on the job and I don't want to waste all my time on it. So I give her a discount on the phone. So we go down in price. John finishes the whole job. She says, my fence doesn't open, so I'm not paying you. So I go out there as soon as I got off work at the hospital, come over there because I'm still doing both things. I get off there, I come over there. I have some tools in the truck, and her fence is laying down in the ground, doesn't move. It's not because the asphalt was too high. It's because the fence is 20 years old and it didn't function before.
Yeah.
But I'm nice and I really don't like a lot of confrontation, so I just get on it and start fixing the fence, and I get the fence fixed. It took me maybe 20 minutes. Readjusted some things, cut some of the wood on the bottom off that was all rotted away, and fence is good. She's like, okay, here's the check. She gives me the check. I hear in the spring, I get a call that she has a couple weeds popping through the driveway.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, I guess maybe that happens sometimes. I asked John, my subcontractor, hey, can you do it? He goes out there, hey, no problem, I'll go fix it. He goes out there, heats it up with a torch, puts a screwdriver in there, puts some weed killer, tamps it back down, perfect. Weeds never came back. The weeds never came back. I'm like, okay, good. I did her, the date I did her driveway, 11 months after that, she calls or she sends me an email, one of the two, saying, hey, I want full all my money back. And I'm like, what? Like, wow, this thing must have really went to hell since the last time I seen it. Like, I don't remember it being that bad. And I said, well, is it okay if I come out and look at it with you? So I come to her house and look at it. We walk down the whole long stretch of the driveway. We walk through the whole back part. There's leaves on the driveway at the time because it was during the fall. And she's like, and I'm talking to her, and we get down to the end of the driveway, and I've snapped a couple pictures. And we get back to the front of the driveway, and I'm like, Karen, what seems to be the problem? Like, and she's like, I've seen good asphalt before, and this is not it. And I'm like, I mean, this is 1-year-old asphalt. I mean, there wasn't weeds popping up all over the place. That's what I was expecting, like this thing to be infested with weeds, cracks all over the place. Right. And that was not the case. And she's like, I was like, I came here willing to give you like maybe one or two to just settle this, because going to court's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Yep. You waste my time, you waste your time. There is no winners going to court. They're both losers. It's just, do you want to pay some money now, or do you want to go to court, waste all your time, and still maybe potentially pay some money? And I just, after looking at the driveway, I'm like, I can't give her any money. Like, this customer is just trying to get something for nothing. Like, I really can't give her any money. And so I tell her I'm not going to do anything, just seeing if she was done. And then she sent over a lawsuit for $8,000, which is more than she paid. I think like $2,500, maybe more than she paid. And it turns out if the lawsuit is over $5,000, you have to have a lawyer. So if she would have paid or over $6,000, you have to have a lawyer. So if she would have sued for the original amount she paid, I wouldn't have had to have a lawyer. I could have went and represented myself. But since she sued for over this amount, I had to have a lawyer. So I get a lawyer. I show him all the stuff. I bring in John, the subcontractor. He's an expert. They all talk it out, blah, 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 how everything was done. He's like, okay, I think we got a good case. And we go to court. He goes to court a couple times with her over and over. I didn't have to go. And then we went for the final hearing. I went, John went, she was there. Everyone did their part, which is crazy how long it takes to actually get the verdict on some of these things. Nuts. But after the court case, I was like, holy shit, I love my lawyer. Like, this guy is good. Like, I've had lawyers before that are like, you have to like nudge him on the shoulder and be like, say this, do this. Yeah. He like knew exactly what to say and what not to say. And the biggest thing was John, so when they went to do the driveway, they were going to spray weed killer down to kill everything. I don't know the normal practice. You can correct me on the wrong and how you think everything should be done after we're done with this. They went to spray weed killer on it, and she said, no, I can't have that. I have a cat. And then she's like, well, let me take a picture and go inside and look it up. She looks it up on Google. She comes back out and says, no, I can't have any of that. Well, now I know you should always have somebody sign something if you're going to do anything different, because there could be problems down the road. But I never heard any of this until we're all in the lawyer's office talking about it, a year and a half later. And that story comes out in the courtroom. Yeah. And she said, the judge asked her, like, did you ever have a family member's or an animal hurt from weed killer? And she's like, yeah, I did. And once she said that, the judge like knew, like, yeah, this is not a made up story. Like, she didn't want the weed killer down because she didn't want her cat affected by it, because somebody else's maybe animal didn't make it after some weed killer somewhere else. Yeah. So that was why the weed killer couldn't happen. And the whole lawsuit thing went down. My lawyer says we should get the verdict in 3 months. It takes like 7 months to get the verdict on this little tiny lawsuit. I don't know why it takes so long. It's like crazy. And the lawyer's like, he emails me and lets me know, hey, we won. The judge ruled in our favor. We don't have to pay her any money. And I'm like, yes, thank you so much. I mean, I posted all the stuff on TikTok beforehand, said, hey, do you think I should take this girl to court, or should I just pay her the money? And TikTok's like, no, take her to court. So I did what TikTok wanted, even though I actually thought it was the wrong thing to do. I thought it was better to negotiate a settlement and be done with it. But TikTok wanted me to
I don't think she was going to do that, though. It doesn't sound like.
Well, I mean, she might have. If I'm like, here's a check for $2,000. You want $2,000, we're done. She might have got. She might have. I don't know. That's what I really personally thought was the best thing. TikTok said take her to court.
Don't do that.
I did what TikTok wanted. TikTok was right. And my judge, the lawyer says, hey, we got everything except the legal fees. And in my contract, it says if I win the lawsuit, they're responsible for the legal fees.
Oh.
So my judge, the lawyer's like, do you want to go back to court to go get the legal fees? Because this is what it says. And I'm like, no, I've had enough. I think I'm done with this one. I'm ready to move on with my life after this little tiny driveway that there's almost no profit. I don't want to spend any more time on it.
Yeah. Well, good thing you didn't ask TikTok, because they've been like, yeah, go back again. Let's do it again. You know they want to see it happen.
They love the drama.
Yeah, and the crazy part is as uncommon as that is probably for you and what you do, it happens a lot in the asphalt industry. I think people don't understand this is a permeable pavement, right? It's not considered a permanent structure. You're not taxed on it, and that's because it's made of oil, rock, and sand mashed together, right? And if you think that something isn't going to come up through that at some point, you're completely wrong. Ants will come up through it in no time. Grass and weeds will come up through it. And it varies by state when we talk about weed killer, because some states, you have to be you have to have a license in order to spray it, right? Or the homeowner can spray it themselves and you're fine. Like a lot of times that's what we do. Like if you want it, you get it and spray Roundup or whatever you would use. And then we'll come lay it. But then it's on you. And not on us, because we're not licensed to be able to do it, right? So some people do and don't, and there's other different things you can do to make sure weeds don't come up. A lot of times we've had some people throw out like a certain powder or something that keeps it from going, whether that's whatever it would be, salt. A lot of people use salt or use something else to try to keep it at bay. But anyways, yeah. What a crazy, it was great to kind of see your perspective on it and what happens overall, because there are like clients out there who want a free job, and they go into it hiring you knowing that they're probably going to try to make a fuss and get a free job, because they believe that either the asphalt contractor or asphalt maintenance contractor before was shady, and if they would have thrown a fit, they would have gotten a free one because this guy didn't want no beef. But I think like what you did helps keep it in check, and you documented it, right? I mean, I seen it to where it's like, oh, okay. And here's the other thing. If you do have an intelligent client that goes and checks out your stuff, they're going to be like, oh, this guy means business, right? Like we've seen this before. This means business. So talk to us a little bit now, if you would, about subcontracting in general. A lot of people in my industry, in my space, are like, we get asked a lot of times for our subcontractor contract for some of the guys that are our peers and whatnot that are starting in the industry and things. And that's because they want to make sure they have like a quote unquote bulletproof one. But what are some tips when you're subcontracting to make sure that goes smooth?
Going back to the contract side that you just mentioned, it is that what I learned is like whenever you have a problem, you put it in your contract. Don't let that problem ever come back and bite you again. Same thing for subcontractor stuff. You have a problem with a subcontractor, put it in your contract. But when you start, are you talking about to be a subcontractor, or are you talking about to start subbing?
And they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't even have a subcontractor contract. I just did it. So when they get going on some of that, what are some tips for people who are either getting into it or have been in it and we don't want them to get blindsided? In my opinion, Dynapac CC900G roller is the best roller on the market for driveway and small parking lot paving contractors. The seismic technology in these rollers is unbeatable for the smoothness and compaction they provide. Take my word for it, or visit Dynapac.com to find a dealer near you.
Hey Blacktop Banter fans, this is Michael with Aquafault. Aquafault is the only permanent repair material for asphalt and concrete that uses water. And installation is simple. Just pour, add water, and tamp. It's that easy. An Aquafault repair can be open to traffic immediately and fully sealed within 24 hours. Visit aquafault.com to learn more.
I work closely with KM International to design what I believe is the best seal coating unit on the market. The Blacktop Banter Edition seal coating unit, available in both 550 and 700 gallon versions. Learn more about the unit by visiting kminternational.com.
Quick startups, fume-free, automatic agitator shutoff, a splash-proof lid, and pumping on demand, these features are essential for any serious asphalt maintenance contractor. Elevate your game with the Crafco Super Shot line of melters by visiting crafco.com today.
Hi contractors, it's Kyla from Wiscoat. We use Stencil Plus for all of our pavement marking stencils. You can save 10% on your stencil order by using code BB10 during checkout at stencilplus.com or by calling 877-372-6055.
In the past year, Jobber has been our CRM of choice at Wiscoat, and it's made our world exponentially better efficiency-wise. For our small seal coating company, it has helped build the solid foundation we can scale from. Jobber is now a sponsor of Blacktop Banter and helps bring this show to you. With this partnership, Jobber is offering an exclusive savings to BB listeners of 20% off for 6 months. To take advantage of this, find the Jobber link in the show description and get to improving your process today.
The biggest thing about a subcontractor is, are they good? And a lot of times you're not going to know if they're good until you give them a shot. You have some ways to filter them out. Like when I'm looking for subcontractors, like say I was looking for a subcontractor for a pergola. I wanted to find someone to do a pergola. I would figure out the dimensions for the pergola, the specs, everything about it. And then I would ask multiple people, hey, can you give me a price on this pergola? I want to be checking pricing. Once I figure out the pricing from multiple subs, then I want to say, send me pictures of all your work.
Okay.
Send me pictures. If they don't have any pictures, they haven't been doing much work. I need proof that they've been doing the work. And I need proof and pricing to match up. I can't sub it to the most expensive person. I can't give the work to the number one pergola contractor on Google. That's going to be very hard to sell any jobs that way. I need to find someone at a good price, but also can produce high quality work. So I need those things to match. So when I tell people they're asking me where can they find subcontractors, I recommend finding subcontractors from Facebook Marketplace. People will post their services on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. You want to find a smaller company. You don't want to find a monster and start subbing work to them. So usually you're finding people that can do the work. Maybe they're new to starting their own business, but they haven't quite figured out the marketing side of it. And what that's done for me in a lot of things is I found someone good, young, they can do the work, and I become the person that sells all their work. I am their marketer. They rely on me solely to find their work. They might find some jobs themselves, but they rely on me for a lot of the other stuff. So once you do your first job with them, once you do that first, sub the work to them, the customer's happy, the work gets done, everything gets done, they show up when they're supposed to, you keep using them, you use them again. But if you hire a sub and he doesn't show up, he says he's going to be there this day, he doesn't show up, he's just like all the rest of the contractors that aren't doing what they say they're going to do. So I really stand behind, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I say this is my price, I really want that to be my price. I don't like to change orders on the customers. I mean, crazy things got to happen for me to do that. I really want to stand behind, my work and my reputation. But, I don't want to lose any work. I hate saying no, I can't do it. And when I was younger, I would just say, hey, here's my friend, Justin, he can do the work. And I gave a guy like maybe close to $400,000 in work. He didn't even buy me dinner or lunch or give me $1. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. I mean, I could have made some money on these jobs, and now I didn't get nothing. So, and once you get in, like I'm in with a lot of bigger people for the concrete thing. And I'm like, look, we also offer asphalt. We offer masonry. And now I can get some of these bigger contracts under the same umbrella, which is, it could be a home run. I mean, it could be a home run. So that's how I feel on that side. Anything you want me to
No, I think you did good there. You touched on a little bit, though, was the marketing, right, for some of these guys. And you really essentially marketed yourself really, really well, as being very well versed to do multiple things. So give us some tips on utilizing social media for your business on the marketing side.
Okay.
I know that's a big one. I could tell by the big breath drawing. There's a lot, so you don't have to do a whole lot. But there's guys where they're like, hey, I don't even want to touch social media because I don't know even what I'm doing.
I want to hit before the social media part some of the other things you want to do. So I believe if you're looking for someone to do some asphalt work for you, you're going to go to Google, and you're going to type in asphalt contractor near me.
Yep.
And the first thing you see is those Google sponsored ads. So
Yep.
those are the ads when you buy Google ads, that's where you're going to show up. That's where Yelp spends their money. That's where Thumbtack, that's where Angie leads. That's where they're spending all their money. The next thing you're going to see is the Google My Business pages. Those are the top 3 people, and then you can hit the more button and see all the rest. And then you're going to get to the websites. So back in the day, you wanted your website to rank top on Google. Well, now you're getting buried by all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So there's people that are like, how do I get more work? And I'm like, well, how many reviews do you have on your Google My Business page? And they don't even have one. And it's like, look, you have to get a Google My Business page. Once you get the Google My Business page, you can get it for your house. You can get it forever. You can get one. It's possible. Once you get one, I believe you ask all your friends and family to leave you a review. Then you ask all your past customers leave you a review, and then you implement asking every customer you have moving forward for a review. You need to keep that growing, because guess what's going to happen, Marvin? 20 years from now, when your company has 10,000 reviews and someone wants to start an asphalt company, guess what? They can never touch you. They're going to quit.
No way. Yeah.
They're going to call the company with 10,000 reviews before they come to this company with 10
or
reviews.
100.
You know, like
even
they're
100.
they're a nobody. So I don't think Google's going anywhere. So I really believe we got to keep hitting that hard as you can hit it. Now,
You have a call to action, Eric? Use a call to action to get them to give you a review, like either on the contract or in person or through email?
So
like
when
what?
we go to collect that final check, we're always asking for a review then. And before that, I reached out every single customer. If I didn't collect the check, I reached out and asked them for a review. I've always been good at getting it. Some people ask me how you get it, and I was like, I really just beg them. I beg them for the review. I have no shame. I just beg them for a review. When I was a server at a restaurant, they had like these things where you get reviews. I always got the most reviews, even though I worked like less hours than everybody else. Because you don't even have to tip me. If you can just do this review, like that would make my day. So I pretty much beg people. What's also important to reviews is people posting pictures. Not just saying great work, but I think that is the biggest way to keep getting work. I also spend money on Facebook ads and Google ads. Those are the places I spend money. I don't spend money on Thumbtack or Angie's Leads. Not that you can't do it, but I see a better bang for your buck on those platforms. And the Google My Business is free, which is just crazy that you can get. I mean,
that type of stuff for free. Oh, for sure.
1,000+ impressions for free. Now, on the social media side, when you start a business, I think you need to start your social media accounts on everything. Everything. Get your Blacktop Banter on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok,
Threads,
Pinterest,
X,
LinkedIn, everything there
OnlyFans.
is. Even if you don't use it. Even if you don't use it, you should get your app before you become a big company and someone has yours and then they want to sell it to you. So just go get them everywhere. And then when I started on TikTok, I just recorded what I was doing. I was just saying what I was doing. If I was quoting a job, I was just showing you me quoting the job, measuring up how I came up with the price. Now, how I'm portraying myself on TikTok and all the other social media, it's more as someone who can start a subcontracting business. I don't mention my name or my business names in this TikTok, but you should have a TikTok for your business, and you post every time you finish a concrete job or an asphalt job, take 10 pictures, post them all on Facebook. Take a video, post it on TikTok. There's a really good platform called repurpose.io. I don't know if I don't know if there's sponsorship or anything like that.
We're free reign. You can do whatever you like.
No. I just really think it's a home run. Like when I post on TikTok, it goes to every single platform for like $200 for the year, something along those numbers. I don't know the exact numbers. I actually do have an affiliate account there, but I'm not as good as you on the affiliate side of things.
Get out of here.
I just tell people what I think they should do. So if you start a business and it's hard to post on everything, but if you could post on one, you could set your Facebook to go to everything. If you could post on TikTok, you could set your TikTok to go to everything. And what you're going to get from that is people seeing that, and you're going to land jobs. You're going to land jobs. More people, more exposure, and I mean, it's just a growing thing that more and more people are doing. Not enough businesses that even produce good work do a good job of posting that they produce good work.
Yeah.
And if no one sees it, no one can ask for it. You know,
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I really
I
want
read what I read. It might have been The Art of the Deal or something. Maybe I can't remember what it was, but I remember a quote in there or one of the books, and it was, "If you don't toot your own horn, who's going to?" Right? It's like, well, you can't get work. You can get work, but somebody has to toot the horn at some point, even if it's just a little toot, whether it's you, whether it's your friend or whatever. I would much rather have a big old horn and as many people as I can tooting multiple horns, no matter what. I want it to be a symphony, essentially, for myself. So you have a lot of experience, man, as far as business and life and whatnot. How old are you, Eric? Can I ask that?
33.
Yeah, 33. And I really want to ask you an overall question. We do it every time here on Blacktop Banter with our guests, especially near the end of the podcast. We ask them for an overall piece of advice just from life in general. So you seem like you've had quite a bit of experience, whether on the business side and trying to balance that with life itself. As an employee, as a business owner, as a GC, as the guy that wears all the hats. So what would be a general piece of advice that you would give people to help them just live a better life? Like, you know, in general, what would it be, you think?
I would say still spend your time with your family, with your kids. Don't miss out on that time because you can't get it back. I got a son that's 2 years old, and he just grows up more and more every day. So I've spent a lot of time with him, and once it hits March, that's go time. You're grinding every single day, so you still need to carve out that time to spend with your family, even in the go seasons where you're really hitting it hard. And try to get some other team members to wear some of those hats, so you don't have to wear every single hat and solve every single problem and, you know, have all the solutions. If you can have a partner or a team member or a leader on your team to start taking more responsibility, it's going to free up more time for you to spend with your family and doing more things that you want to do that you might miss out on if you're grinding every day working.
Being honest, it just happens to be that you might not as enjoy it as much as if we were out fishing or at a water park or whatever. But we have grown closer in it, so I think that's kind of the beauty of what we do, as well as far as being independent and doing our thing. But I think it's a great piece of advice along the way. It's very easy to get caught up in the success of it and the chase of it all, and then you know, if your attention's somewhere, that means it's lacking somewhere else. And you know as well as I do, no matter how much success we have, if you're lacking in the areas that really matter, it doesn't matter at all, right? So,
correct.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you joining us today. Where can we find you on social media?
Eric Martin Money on pretty much everything. So TikTok's my go-to, but it, just like I said, it gets repurposed IO on every single platform.
I've seen it's on Instagram. We were checking out the Instagram a little bit here before we got on. So
the only one I actually watch regularly is TikTok, but it goes it goes everywhere. So the
that's
thing
what
is,
you should be doing, man.
if you're a business owner and you're just posting to one, you're missing out on everything else. So
it's true.
It's just it's so nice to have a computer. You post to one, and the computer does it all. Like, I don't have to do anything. It's the greatest thing ever.
I know. We're really close to AI just making it look like us and putting us in front of a fake driveway and saying whatever. We won't do anything. You and I will be in the Caribbean. Cool, man.
Exactly.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us today, my friend. As always, you can hop over to blacktopbanter.com and sign up for our newsletter. That's right there on the landing page. It's a newsletter written by contractors for contractors with some words from our partners as well. And while you're there at blacktopbanter.com, if you click the drop down, you'll find the Blacktop Banter Success Group, which is a mastermind group comprised of asphalt contractors, and we use each other as a resource. There's 3 calls a month on Zoom. There's a 24/7 chat group, exclusive vendor discounts from companies within the asphalt industry. There's also a Google Drive with a lot of information. Our subcontractor agreement is there for people to use if they would love to within that Google Drive and adapt to their own. And lastly, there is opportunity for national contract work, as well as we have partnered with some of the largest pavement companies in America to make that happen. So, Eric, I love the tie to asphalt, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Marvin. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So for myself and for Eric, this is Blacktop Banter, where we speak asphalt. Peace. Hey everybody, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter. And if you enjoy the podcast and what we've been bringing to the industry, you can support us through a one-time or recurring donation at blacktopbanter.com. There we have a support tab. You click that and choose your path from there. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please do us a favor and leave a review there for us as well. As always, we speak asphalt, and thanks for your support.